We stood witness to the biggest scandal in American history, bar none. An attempted elimination of a presidential candidate and then coup against the duly elected President of the United States from within the government itself. They conned us, they gamed us, and they lied to us over and over and over for 3 years. They destroyed lives, reputations, and families. And in the end, no one connected with Donald Trump or his campaign colluded, coordinated, or conspired with Russia. Not Donald Trump himself, not any member of the Trump family, not anyone on the campaign, in fact, not one American. For 2 years, prosecutors savagely strove to indict the president and everyone in his orbit. For 2 years, the mainstream media, the talking heads, the networks, and the lying, liberal Hollywood hypocrites all tried to convince you that Donald Trump was an illegitimate president. And after all of that, there turned out to be nothing to any of it, just as I've always said. No collusion, no obstruction, nothing. The president's enemies didn't care whose lives they destroyed. What mattered was that they destroy the outsider, the one we, the forgotten men and women of America, put in the White House. Businessman Donald J. Trump was that outsider who convinced us the status quo was a choice and he could do better. The perpetrators of this attempted coup were furious at the thought and chipped away with unending zeal, desperate for any connection, threatening families and witnesses and individuals' civil liberties to obtain their corrupt goal of removing the President of the United States from office. The very people who scoff and laugh at the idea of a deep state actually watched it shamelessly and repeatedly broadcast on primetime television. These swamp scum were so arrogant, they didn't even try to hide what they were doing. They lied to your face and dared you to call them on it. From Cardinal James Comey, clueless James Clapper, and pond scum John Brennan on down. It was the first time in American history that people with unbridled power tried to eliminate a presidential candidate, and then, when that failed, planted the seeds for the indictment and impeachment of the now elected president, attempting to destroy the will of the American people who voted for change. Where did this group get the confidence that this was okay? Who above them could possibly have given them the green light? It could only have come from the top. Not just on the orders of the head of the CIA, John Brennan, the head of the FBI, James Comey, and the head of the Justice Department, Loretta Lynch. Ultimately, at the very least, there had to be a wink and a nod from the commander-in-chief, if not full-on involvement of Barack Obama. The unverified Steele dossier was the excuse and justification for this rogue intelligence operation. They used it as a basis to spy on an opposing candidate for the highest seat in the land. They knew it was a lie. They knew it was a political document, not an intelligence document, and they knew Hillary paid for it. And yet this cabal of Trump-hating, Obama-loving sycophants followed their boss, doing everything they could to destroy Donald Trump's chances to become President of the United States. The March 2019 Mueller report, delivered to Attorney General Bill Barr on March 22nd, was a turning point after 2 years of gut-wrenching, slanderous, hateful bile coming from the left. They promised their teed-up special counsel investigation would deliver the goods after they themselves created the narrative of Donald Trump as an illegitimate president who had no right to be sitting at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. But like most of their baseless accusations, it backfired. The Russia collusion delusion was nothing more than an illusion straight from the resistance movement that didn't want